And gentlemen, and just like that, we have an update on the illegal deportation case that the Trump administration blatantly admitted to in court filings. To Judge Paula Zenas and the Supreme Court, so which in turn the Supreme Court paused temporarily and put it in administrative stay, more so Chief Justice John Roberts did, to allow time to get more briefing on the matter. And so they just came out with a ruling. What ruling is that? We will talk about it and explore it and why they ruled in favor of the wrongfully deported, in other words, wrongly arrested and illegally deported migrant Armando Kilmar Abrego Garcia in today's video. This reporting, ladies and gentlemen, is by Reuters. The article is titled, Supreme Court Upholds Order to Facilitate Return of Deportee Sent to El Salvador in Error. And ladies and gentlemen, the article reads, Thursday, a judge's order requiring President Donald Trump's administration to facilitate the return to the United States of a Salvadorian man who the government has acknowledged was deported in error to El Salvador. The Justice Department had asked the court to throw out an April 4 order by U.S. District Judge Paula Zenas, requiring the Trump administration to facilitate and effectuate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. The judge had issued the order in response to a lawsuit filed by Abrego Garcia and his family alleging the legality of his deportation. The court, in an unsigned decision, said that the judge's order properly requires the government to facilitate Abrego Garcia's release from custody in El Salvador and to ensure that his case is handled as it would have been had not been improperly sent to El Salvador. However, the article reads, said that the additional requirement to effectuate his return was unclear and may exceed the judge's authority. The justices directed Zenas to clarify the directive with due regard for the deference owed to the executive branch in the conduct of foreign affairs. The administration, meanwhile, should be prepared to share what it can concerning the steps it has taken and prospect of further steps, the court directed. Abrego Garcia, a Salvadorian migrant who was living in Maryland and has had a work permit since 2019, was stopped and detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement authorities or officers, my editorial edition, on March 12, and questioned about his alleged gang affiliation. He was deported on March 15. No one of 3 high-profile deportation flights, on one of the 3 high-profile deportation flights to El Salvador that also included alleged Venezuelan gang members. Justice Department lawyers in a Supreme Court brief had argued that the judge's order, by requiring the Trump administration to effectuate Abrego Garcia's return, had impermissibly encroached on presidential authority on foreign relations in violation of the U.S. Constitution's separation of powers between its judicial and executive branches. The United States does not control the sovereign nation of El Salvador, nor can it compel El Salvador to follow a federal judge's bidding, Justice Department lawyers wrote. The Supreme Court has a 6-3 conservative majority. Its 3 liberal justices on Thursday issued a statement agreeing with the court's decision, but said they would have denied the administration's request outright. To this day, the government has cited no basis in law for Abrego Garcia's warrantless arrest, his removal to El Salvador, or his confinement in a Salvadoran prison, nor could it, liberal Justice Sotomayor wrote in the statement. Sotomayor said and added that the administration had requested an order from this court permitting it to leave Abrego Garcia, a husband and father without a criminal record, in a Salvadoran prison for no reason recognized by the law. Abrego Garcia is married to an American citizen with whom he is raising a U.S. citizen child in addition to his wife's 2 children from a prior relationship. He had never been charged with or convicted of any crime, according to Abrego Garcia's lawyers, who have denied the Justice Department's allegations that he is a member of the criminal gang MS-13. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get into the details of this administrative error that the government so proclaims that they did. I don't really think it's an administrative error. So, which, in other words, means that I think that it was BS and illegal of them to do. Justice Department, the Justice Department, in a Supreme Court filing on April 7, stated that while Abrego Garcia was deported to El Salvador through an administrative error, his actual removal from the United States was not error. Actually, it was. Hence, you guys blatantly admitted to it being illegal. Continuing with the article. The error, department lawyers wrote, was in removing him specifically to El Salvador despite the deportation protection order. Abrego Garcia received a 2019 judgment in the United States granting him protection from removal to El Salvador after an immigration judge determined he would face persecution from gangs in his home country if returned. Justice Department lawyers said that Abrego Garcia, as an alleged member of MS-13, is no longer eligible for that protection after Trump's administration designated MS-13 as a foreign terrorist organization. One, F you, Trump. Two, who the fuck cares? Who the F cares what you guys think? And what Trump's entire administration thinks? Really, who the F cares? Trump is illegal in himself. Zenas, in her ruling, found that the 2019 order prohibiting Abrego Garcia's removal to El Salvador was still in place. She found that his removal ran afoul of federal immigration law and likely violated procedural protections guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution. Abrego Garcia's detention appears wholly lawless, Zenas stated in her written decision, adding that there were no legal grounds whatsoever for his arrest, detention, or removal. The Richmond, Virginia-based Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals on April 7 rejected the administration's request to freeze the judge's order. The Trump administration deported on March 15 more than 200 people to El Salvador, where they are being detained in the country's massive anti-terrorism prison under a deal in which the United States is paying President Nabil Bukel's government's $6 million. Attorneys for Abrego Garcia said in a Supreme Court filing that there is no evidence in the record of this case supporting the government's contention that it cannot bring him back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's legal breaking analysis reporting. If you did enjoy this legal breaking analysis reporting, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. If you would like to make sure that you never miss a brand new legal breaking reporting, please make sure that you hit the bell icon. It does not cost anything. That is right next to the subscribe button on the right hand side of the screen down below. If you want to make sure that you never miss a brand new legal breaking reporting, please make sure that you also follow me on my social medias that I will have linked down below. There you guys can be updated instantly along with the bell icon on when I've uploaded a brand new legal breaking analysis reporting. Thirdly, ladies and gentlemen, please help me reach and achieve the overall channel goal of 150 plus subscribers. The reason why I'm saying 150 plus subscribers is because right after we reach and achieve the goal of 150 subscribers, we have more subscribers to reach and achieve right after we achieve and reach the goal of 150 subscribers. Lastly, until my next legal breaking reporting, ladies and gentlemen, please stay safe, please stay positive, and know that justice will prevail on the correct side of the law despite Donald Trump and his illegal administration's illegal, unconstitutional executive orders and executive actions.